Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Your Impact Attack. And I am Colin Wysong here each and every week. That man right there, the vet. I don't know what you're the five-time champ of this week, but you're the brand new owner of a PS5, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a PS5. Who wants to touch me?
The one person in the chat, which would be you, wants to touch yourself.
Okay. Well,
Self high five.
Have done that and will do that.
So,
Yeah. But, yeah, man, I fought the bots and I won.
I thought the bot.
I'm done doing jobs in my career. It's time for me to get over now.
So in the best of 7 series that you and the bots have, I mean, you got the PlayStation, so clearly you came out on top. But how many of those matches did the bots win?
It felt like several hundred. It took I can measure it in terms of time. It took like 45 minutes from the time that the sales went live to refreshing and stuff. And this was on Walmart.com. And the reason I found it was because I followed some Twitter account that had alerts for when retailers would put stuff up with Best Buy, Amazon, and I was banking on Amazon because I had points. I had rewards points. I had enough rewards points that I could afford a PS5 for free. So that's
Like
what
Amazon coin or something like that. That's what I've
well,
heard.
it's just when you spend money using their issued Visa cards and things like that. You earn money on purchases. It's like $3 for anything you buy on Amazon, $2 for restaurants and gas, and one point for everything else, right? And then you get so many points, and hey, all right.
That's totally not even planned.
Show that again.
That was not even planned.
It's okay. It just says PlayStation in katakana. Okay.
Yeah. No hiragana or kanji on this one.
It's katakana.
No, but hiragana.
No.
Is the Americanized version.
Colin, that's katakana.
I know that's katakana. I know the difference, vet.
I'm still not sure you do. But anyways,
don't make me.
The point is,
turn this show around, vet.
Yeah. Okay. The point is, of all places, they actually put up an alert in advance saying, so Walmart.com is going to go live at such and such a time. So I had time to prepare, but then again, so did everybody else in the world with their army of bots. So I basically and it gets weird. Like, stuff just starts glitching out when you go through the process, but you just got to keep doing it, keep refreshing it. And just don't give up, because the way they do it, at least on that one, is they refresh. They add stock every so often, every 10 minutes or so. So you just keep refreshing, keep trying. It'll tell you it's sold out multiple times. You just got to keep doing it, and if you keep doing it, you too can have a PS5.
Nice, I like it. There was something I was gonna say about bots. Crap, I had a nice little joke in my head about you refreshing in the bots and everything like that.
Oh, well, it's a shame we'll never get to hear it.
Yeah, gosh.
But
I'll come up with it later on in the show.
But
I'll come back to me.
So that's new, but not that new. I had it last week, but it just didn't really come up organically in our conversation. So I had when we first on Sunday night, when we were getting ready to think about going live, or no, we tried to go live and there was issues. I had the empty box sitting here. I was just gonna hold up the empty box and show everybody, and then when we pushed it back to Monday, I was like, fuck it, I don't care. But yeah, so
everybody.
1 week of PS5 life in the books.
What games do you have so far?
I have 0 games.
Okay.
Because
I guess you paid like $1 bajillion for it. You don't really have much money for games, right?
Here's the thing that a lot of people have to understand. There are no games. There are like 2 games that you can get.
Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and what else?
No, that's not even that's a PS4 game. You could get that on PS4. Every game is a PS4 game that can be upgraded in certain cases to a PS5 version, or simply just played on your PS5. The only PS5 games that you can't play on PS4, I think, are the Demon Souls remake and Returnal. And I think everything else pretty much, at least those are two major games that you can't. And if there's any other ones, then I don't know. But it's really just those two. And I have no desire to play Demon Souls again because that game is so hard, and I've played through the old one enough and I finished it, which not many people can say they have. So whatever, I'm not going to go through that again, but I've seen the game and it looks amazing. And if you never played a Souls game and you always wanted to, or if you played the Dark Souls games but never played Demon Souls, or if you just really love the original PS3 Demon Souls, that remake is awesome. The soundtrack is awesome. The graphics are great. That's definitely one to get. Not for me though. Maybe when they add it to like the the free PlayStation Plus games, I might add it to my library, but I'm not going to be buying it. And Returnal looks cool, but again, they might add it to the library and I'll play it then. But everything else is really just a PS4 game at this point. So I'm just using it for what I use my PS4, which is a central media hub. I watch a lot of the, apps on it and stuff like that, rather than, other means like computer or Fire Stick. I just use the PlayStation interface to watch a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
and it's got a 4K. It's got a 4K disc player, so I can, the couple of 4K movies I have, I can watch those now. And I've got, there's some other ones coming out that'll be on 4K that I'll probably buy. So there is that too.
All right, we got our third man in the booth here. What is up, Brandon? We were talking the vet. He just got his PlayStation 5, and he was telling me that there really aren't any games for the PlayStation 5. Now I just recently started playing Alien, the new Alien game that is out, and
Fire Team.
Yes, it is. It's fun. I like the aspect that it's a 3-man squad game where you basically just have missions and you go through, you get random drops and you find and loot, all that type of stuff. You upgrade your character. There's different character classes that you can play with. Like there's the gunner, the heavy guy. There's a doc. There's like a more of a tank style character that's like really protective. But you do get stuck in some matchmaking where like the first game I was in, the other two people I was playing with were really good. And then the second level, it kind of glitched. Like we were trying to go through this door and it kept saying like reform your group. And literally all of us were standing by the door and it continued to like glitch and wouldn't open the door. So I got out of that team, got into another team with a person who was playing the doc character, which is like the healer. And for any of those who have played MMOs or done anything where you're a healer, which I used to be like a white mage on Final Fantasy, you have to pay attention to the health bars of your people. And this guy has a special ability, and your abilities refresh. Like every 30 seconds, you get like your refresh back kind of thing. Like your grenades refresh, your ability refreshes. Cool. He has this ability to drop an area zone where as long as you're standing in it, you'll regenerate health while you're fighting and stuff like that. The guy literally uses it right before the boss battle instead of using it during the boss battle. So we went through this whole thing of getting through this thing for us to die like right at the end because he only used it once. Like it refreshes. Why are you using it only once for the whole level? Like that's the issues that you can run into. Now, the AI is a little bit better because if you don't pull anybody in, you'll get AI people behind you, but it's totally nostalgic. It's got the sound effects are great. There are like little tidbits, like the way they intertwine the xenomorphs and the stuff from Prometheus, like they have the synthetics and stuff like that. Like it's really cool. It's very interesting. Like I said, I'm very early into it, but I do like it. I see that there's going to be a lot of replay value into it. Nice. Because you can run through playing as the gunner, then you can run through playing as the heavy machine guy, you can run through playing as the doc, all that type of stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. Brandon, do you have a PlayStation 5 or Alien Fireteam Elite, or have you gotten a new game to play this week?
Neither, but I do have a PS4 though.
Okay, I'm right there with you. We are not on the same level as the vet here on your impact attack. Now, let's see, Brandon. Again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Brandon's here. Brandon, do you have anything that you would like to say to everyone before we kind of jump into like our first little news article?
Not a whole lot. Just make sure, treat everybody with respect. You never know what kind of day people are having, and just be mindful of the way you talk to people and how you treat people.
There you go. Yes, sir. What else? All right. Well, I'm sure you will talk about this Wednesday with Big Ray. Samoa Joe relinquishing the NXT title tonight in a tweet right around like 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He didn't disclose why he was dropping the title. He just said it's a certain injury, or supposedly an injury that he received, I guess, during the match that he had. Now, Vet, I'm going to go to you first. We're going to play. We're just going to start the show off hot. Fact or fiction time. Fact or fiction, Vet. This Samoa Joe stuff is a work.
Is it a work in the sense of he's not like coming clean with the reasons why, or that they're just turning something else into an angle?
They're turning this into an angle.
Okay. Yeah, well, it could be that. I'll say possible fact, because it does seem weird to relinquish the championship. I mean, since when do you have to relinquish championships when you just in your company you've had Brock Lesnar abscond with championships for months at a time without being seen? So like that can't be an excuse. He just won it. So it could be a thing of like, well, we just want to get this off of Karrion Kross, but we don't actually want Samoa Joe to have it. So we're doing a new NXT thing. We've got a Wale theme song now. We don't want Samoa Joe as the NXT champion. We don't like how he looks with this shirt off. I don't know what level of meddling they're going to be doing. By they, I mean anybody from the WWE offices. Like, I don't know how hands-on they want to be with NXT going forward. So they could have... And think about it. I mean, they did release Samoa Joe on their end.
Yeah.
And Triple H was like, excuse me, I'll take that. What are you doing? And now that those people are now got their hands in his pie, there's like, I thought
his poontang pie. If you smell,
God, I hope not. I hope not. But yeah. So yeah, it's definitely something a conspiracy theory to sink your teeth into. Keeping with the pie themes and stuff like that, that people are just continually going down the line trying to get rid of Samoa Joe, or at least just mess with him for whatever purpose that they feel that serves them.
Gotcha. Now, Brandon, I am going to throw it over to you with this question. Not sure if you are avidly watching NXT or not. You can tell me yes or no.
No, not really.
No? Okay. Well,
Fiction.
Yeah. Fact or fiction? Do you watch NXT? you watch a lot more NXT than I do Impact Wrestling. Let's see. Well, I guess with that my question is going to go back to you, Vet, and this is probably something you are going to talk about again on Wednesday, so you can tease it or not. Who do you see them putting the title on or vying for the title? I have seen someone say in this new rebranded NXT, a certain LA Knight dummy, could be a good one to run with the title here.
Mm-hmm. He's the most sports entertainment-y of the guys that they have there.
Or do we wrap it up on Santos Escobar?
I don't know. I think they're going to see him as the same way they see a lot of the guys from 205. so they're not going to want that. I don't know, but they've cleaned some house, and some house has cleaned itself. So there's not a lot of options, like not a lot of obvious options to go with on the show.
So it's going to be Kyle O'Reilly or who else is down there? Johnny Gargano probably again. Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be something like that. And Tommaso Ciampa's recently made a comment that he's, it's been a long time since he and Goldie were together, so at least in the storyline, they're looking forward towards that. So I don't know, man, but we're gonna see a lot of stuff, this Tuesday when they do the new rebranded version, and we'll see what that looks like. But as I said last week, they need a rebrand. They need something. It's been the same ugly old black and yellow dingy mess that for the past 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, whatever it's been that they've been doing this, and they need something to change to look more appealing, because I think that's really, at the time, that's the number one reason that if there was a Wednesday Night War, that they came out on the short end, just because it looks, even though the production is more slick and technical, it looks more boring. The NXT show has always looked more boring than Dynamite. And that just has a certain appeal. Like, you cannot dismiss the optics.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling is mostly an optics business. I'm sure Brandon can agree to that. Like, most of it is just what you're looking at, man. If you have the sound off, you can still basically get the gist of what's going on. But if you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like what you're looking at, you're not going to keep looking at it. So NXT needs a refresh. I don't know if this is I don't know how it's going to look in general. But I mean, we'll just have to tune in and find out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of the biggest lessons I was taught was perception is reality.
That's right.
It is true. Yeah, I hear that in the restaurant business as well. Now, guys, breaking news. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I don't have a glass thing to break or any kind of thing like that. But this Tuesday as well, when you're done watching NWA Power, head on over to twitch.tv/the A Show for the real world's champion, the current NWA champion, Trevor Murdoch, will be joining April Hunter and Aaron Stevens on the A Show. But that is not all that I have to promote here. Wednesday at 4 p.m. We're going to probably go live around 3:45 so April and Aaron can get in here in the chat. But 4 o'clock, we're going to have the hardcore legend himself, Mick fucking Foley, on the show to come on and talk about suicide awareness, the shirt off his back auction that he's doing for the Have a Nice Day tours. And this is pretty much spurred off of Daphne. We're going to bring him on, have a little bit more remembrance of Daphne, and then share some stories and have him just have some fun time with April and Aaron. I'm excited for this one. It's Mick Foley. Like, we got the NWA champion followed up by Mick Foley this week on the A Show. I am like thoroughly excited. Brandon, I'm going to go to you. What do you have a fond NWA memory, or do you have a fond Mick Foley memory?
Man, the only real NWA I watched was TNA when it was around. So shout out to Stand Up for finally getting the NWA World Heavyweight title. Man, going back, like watching SEX, that was actually some pretty interesting, compelling stuff that wasn't really done before. Like off the script, just improv, different.
Yeah. Any Mick Foley memories that you have?
Man, the first thing I always remember about Mick Foley was, like, I think the first angle I saw him in was when he actually got retired by Triple H. And that was, like, I never really saw much from him after that until, like, I mostly remember him as, like, that and then him as the commissioner.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I remember for myself watching the actual Hell in a Cell pay-per-view live with him getting thrown off that Hell in a Cell with Undertaker. I mean, that's classic Mick Foley. But I was always a fan of his skits. Like I remember seeing him as a young kid as Cactus Jack, but you would never see him. Like, he was kind of like that guy that they would bring into WCW for like a 1 or 2 off angle, and then you wouldn't see him around anymore or whatnot. And in the whole Cactus Jack thing, I was just like, yo, I like this dude's style. Like, And then you know, being an 8-year-old, this guy's like using chairs and barbed wires and bats and all this stuff. And then you finally get to see him come over into the WWE as Mankind, and then he gets to bring the Cactus Jack back. He gets to bring the Dude Love and the Mick Foley and all that stuff. Like he's a once in a lifetime entertainer, and for the guy to have been able to do it this long, and for him to almost give his life for our entertainment and stuff like that, it's amazing, and that's definitely something that I will never forget. What about you, Vet? Do you have any personal meetings with Mick Foley or any fond memories?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, so he's such a captivating performer that if you came in at any stage of his career, like he could probably hook you at some point.
Oh yeah.
Like I missed the Cactus Jack stuff because I didn't watch WCW in the early 90s. So I completely missed that, and I didn't get ECW until later. So he was already gone from there. So the first time I see him is as Mankind. So I see that whole gimmick and how that transformed into everything that he did, and brought all the stuff back, like you said. So no matter what he was doing, he can make it work, and he can make you want to watch. That's something that you know, as his own self described, with his thimbleful of athletic talent, he is able to make a great career for himself. And he's one of the people that in a way, he's damaged the business because of those things that we talk about, like the hardcore matches and stuff like that, because people just see that and they have nowhere near the entertainment ability of Mick Foley or the psychology of Mick Foley. So they're just aping what they saw Mick Foley do, and it's sort of run rampant. A lot of people that have seen him take the bumps that he took, at a time when no one was taking those bumps, and he felt that because he wasn't athletic, or because he didn't have a certain look or marketability, he felt that he needed to do that, and he put his body on the line to do that, even though, you know, had he been a little bit smarter at the time, he could have probably circumvented that and saved his body a lot of wear and tear. But now you see people just doing these things because they saw, you know, oh, I want to jump off something because I saw Mick Foley fall off the hill itself, so I want to.
How much of Darby Allin is is from Mick Foley?
Bro, I don't even know if Darby Allin's old enough to remember Mick Foley falling off the thing, but like he could have been, like it could have been. Darby's a little different, in the sense that, like I always say, you can't talk sense to him. So, but there are other people that are doing it that maybe they do have a future. Anyways, all that is to say that, despite that, he's great no matter what. Whether it's just him standing around being funny, because he's got a great sense of comedic timing, which I'll get to in a minute. And his, like, as an author, he's very, like, a very talented writer. I think his first book, Have a Nice Day, is one of the greatest books ever written. And when I say that, that's not like somebody that just reads a couple of, you know, young adult paperbacks and some wrestling biographies.
This is a guy that's read. He wrote with Dickens. That's the Vet right there. The Vet wrote with Charles Dickens. He knows good ass writers.
Yeah, well, I didn't necessarily write with Dickens. If I would, but I did tell him that he's way too wordy and he describes stuff too much for too long. But yeah, I have. But
stiff on Dickens, bro. You're working that Dickens stiff, man. You need to stop.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't like working Dickens, but he's But yes, to your point though, I have read classic novels of literature, like, you know, the Tale of Two Cities and those type of things. Like I've read those. So like I'm comparing it to all the works, like Shakespeare works. Like I'm talking about, these are things I've read, and I look at Have a Nice Day for what it is. I'm not saying it's better than those or whatever, but I'm saying for people that think that a wrestler writing a book, what if they have a certain preconception in their mind of what that's going to be like. It's just such a great book, and I read it multiple times. But I also read his fiction books. And I really wanted to, like, he wrote one called Scooter, and I wanted to, if I ever met him, I wanted to tell him that I thought that book was really good, because I'm sure he gets enough of people telling him, oh, I love when you got thrown off the cell, or I love Have a Nice Day, but I didn't read any of your other 5 books. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure he gets enough of those same marks coming up to him and saying that stuff. So I wanted to tell him, because I thought Scooter was really good and I like what he did in the book. I wanted to tell him that because I thought he'd appreciate it. So my chance was at WrestleMania 23 when I'm backstage all day, and you see Mick Foley, and he's there, and he's kind of like working the room a little bit, I guess is the only way you could say it, because he'd be going and talk to somebody like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then he'd go and talk to some person that I don't know who they were, but they were probably like a seamstress or something, and then he'd sit with Don Morocco at the table and like have a little Legends chat. Then he'd move over to some chairs and just talk to, like, he was talking to this person who I was sitting next to, and I thought that person was a somebody, but he was just saying hi and introducing himself and asking like what they were doing there that day. And they were like, I think they were like some singer for some choir that was going on in somebody's entrance or something. I can't remember exactly who this person was or whatever, but he's just talking to this random person. So he's like talking to everybody. And I was just like, okay. And then that person had to get up and leave. So then there's I'm thinking as soon as the
my moment.
I'm like a chair away from Mick Foley, and he's sitting there, just sitting there, and I see this happen, and I'm like, okay, here's my moment, and it's going to be cool because I just saw him talk to a total stranger, so this will be no different. Someone asked me a question, and I turn around to answer the question, and I look back, and he's already wandered off like somewhere else, and I was like, God damn it. Oh. And then I didn't really see him anymore after that. The only people that were at that whole thing that I wanted to interact with in any way was Mick Foley and the alpha male Monty Brown, who just happened to be there because he had a match that night. But the only chance I would have had when Monty Brown was alone, there's a thing in catering where, and maybe, I don't know if it's like this for every Raw SmackDown, but probably for the big shows like WrestleMania or whatever, the main catering room has like this big section of folding chairs that they set up so that you can like sit and just watch the monitors. Okay, and then people kind of like rotate in and out of the room as necessary to be able to watch these monitors. Well, there's a point where I see Monty Brown, and he's just by himself sitting down watching the thing, but there's a lot of people in the room sitting in the chairs, and they're all just sitting there watching. So for me to talk to him, I would have had to get up, walk across the room, and talk to him, and everybody would have looked at me getting up and walking across the room, right? So, it's one of those things where like everybody's sitting. If one person stands, everybody's going to be like, what? So I couldn't do that then. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him there. And I didn't get a chance to give Todd Grisham a hug. But anyways, fast forward, Mick Foley comes to my town to do one of his stand-up shows. So he's got the autographs and meet and greets and take a picture thing afterwards and everything like that. So I stand in the whole line. I'm supposed to go to work. I'm not going to work. I called in late. I'm sitting in line waiting for this line to just get through with all their mark-ass bullshit so I can just tell them, hey, man, I like your book. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to tell you this at WrestleMania. I didn't get a chance. I like your book. So I'm finally like get through everybody else. I don't want a picture or autograph or nothing. I tell him what I need to tell him. Shake his hand, everything. Tell him I like the book. He said, yeah, man, a lot of people didn't really, I guess it just didn't resonate with a lot of people, but I was really proud of it, so I'm glad you liked it. And then I talked to him about Rip a little bit, and then, and because Rip had done like a bit, he does a bit in his shows, if you've seen it, you know it, but he'll bring up somebody on stage at the end, and then Rip was at, one of those times, so he was telling me that was the last time he saw him, and he wasn't in particularly great health, everything, so... but yeah, so I finally did get to tell Mick Foley what I always wanted to tell him, which is Scooter is a good book. So everybody check out Scooter.
Yo, it's Sonic in the Headdress just making his appearance in the chat. What's up, Sonic? So I guess that'll wrap up the Mick Foley portion of the show. I guess the only other thing that we have to talk about was this weekend in Triller fights.
Well,
Tito
I only
Ortiz-
wanted to see one thing, so it only took me a few seconds to knock this off my schedule. So
Well,
it's no problem.
we had 2 fights. We had Tito Ortiz versus Anderson Silva, and we had Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort. Both MMA fighters conquering their opponents. Anderson Silva knocking out Tito Ortiz in hilarious fashion, as always
Tito
happens.
Ortiz is an MMA fighter.
Yeah, true.
You said that weird.
Very, very
Suspect MMA fighter.
very, very suspect MMA fighter.
Paper champion.
He was also a city councilman and some other shit. Tito Ortiz is a man of many talents. Very average talents, by the way. Tito Ortiz got knocked out by Anderson Silva in hilarious fashion. Very fight night-esque in the way that he fell fell into the ropes and then fell off the ropes. And poor Evander Holyfield. Now, Evander Holyfield should never have even been able to be allowed in that ring. If you've watched an interview in the past year or two with Evander Holyfield, he cannot string a sentence together to save his life. I think Joe Biden is probably the only person that can speak better than Evander Holyfield at this moment in time. And he got in there with Vitor Belfort, who I don't know if it's TRT Vitor that we're seeing there, if it's the old steroided up Vitor that we're seeing there, but the young lion Vitor Belfort came out and just wrecked Evander Holyfield. These punches that Holyfield was taking, they were very punch out esque in the way that he was reacting to him. Vitor would hit him with an uppercut, and Evander was falling backwards and doing the remember when Piston Honda gets knocked out? He kind of his little legs go back and his little arms are like this. That's exactly what happened when Evander Holyfield got hit. He just did the Piston Honda knockout.
I'm sure someone has already made the video of punch out sound effects to that fight.
This
the fight was short enough to avoid any copyright infringements, so no one.
Yeah,
will ever
all
get
of them 30
it.
seconds, really. Brandon, did you get a chance to check any of these out? Highlights, GIFs, anything on the internet?
No, unfortunately, I did not. But I heard it was like you say, it sounded like it interesting how it went down.
Yeah. Tito Ortiz. I saw an interview they did with him. I guess someone was following Jason Perillo and Tito Ortiz around with a camera, and Jason Perillo was kind of giving them a rundown of kind of what happened, and of course he's kind of making excuses for Tito. Like Tito came in heavy. He had a bad weight cut or whatever, and then he was like, well, he did kind of get punched behind the head, but that's not against the rules because his head turned into the punch, so that's kind of Tito's fault or whatever. And it's they're always making excuses for Tito, but Tito, surprisingly enough, was super excited after having gotten knocked out. And it could have been just the concussion, but he was like, guys, I really enjoyed this. He's like, I thought I was doing great. He's like, I shouldn't have probably put too much pressure on him. He's like, literally, this was my first boxing match. He's like, Anderson's had 5 or 6 of these. He's like, you will see me again. He's like, I will do another one. I'll get back in there. I'll train. We'll train harder. We'll get better. Do you want to see Tito Ortiz step in a squared circle again to box?
I didn't want to see him this first time. That's why I didn't watch it. So, so no.
Oh man, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but 5 minutes ago, Brian Alvarez is tweeting out NXT shocker incoming. I think we already know about Samoa Joe quitting, so it's not news, Brian Alvarez. Not news. All right, continue.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing. These are not these are real fights. These are curiosities, and you're taking advantage of gullible people to pay money for them. The kind of people that would actually well then again, with it being on the Fight app, I don't know if old people know how to work a Fight app. I don't know if the people are age appropriate to know who Tito Ortiz and Evander Holyfield are going to be able to get this without the help of their grandkids, to order it and watch it, right? So, I really don't know who these fights are for. Now, in Evander Holyfield's defense, besides the fact that he only took 8 million shots to the head in his career, and that he's 58 years old or whatever he is, and that he's it was a last minute replacement for Oscar De La Hoya, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure would have went similarly, but because apparently no one informed Vitor that these things are supposed to be like half of a show, and you got to carry the just because you can knock them out doesn't mean you should right away, if at all. Because normally when you see these, no one gets knocked out like this. Like they try not to embarrass the people as much as possible, and I guess no one passed Vitor that message because he just went in there with the intent to kill, and he wouldn't have needed to be on TRT to do what he did. He could have easily just got off the couch and did what he did.
And that looked like some old Vitor, man. Like the way he used to kind of blitz people back
Right.
in the day.
But that wouldn't work on a real boxer with reflexes. None of the stuff that he did.
No,
So
the minute he would reach in, he'd get hit with a counter left or a counter right, and we'd see Vitor's chin just give up like it used to back in the day.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like people are always gonna want to see some weird circus freak matchups and stuff like that, and that's how these guys make their money, and they count on it. So, I mean, do I want to see it? No. Is it gonna be on again? Yes. Am I gonna go to an illicit website to see this 30-second fight? Yes. Am I gonna pay any money? No. So there you go.
That's good. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Media M5 in the chat. What's up? Everybody's in the chat now. We got Scott Woodford in the chat. Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to talk about before we hop in to this Impact Wrestling review? No, nothing. Quiet. Crickets. That's all I hear. All right. Well, let me see what old Manolo has for us this week. Vet.
See if he has his show in order this time.
Probably not. He likes to pick out what he likes to choose to throw up at the top because he has pizzazz. Manolo has pizzazz, Vet.
Is that like a social media handle?
It could be.
Because I'm just like, that's. They keep saying that like that's his name. But
Well, he starts with the headline tonight. Impact recap: 10-man tag recruitment turns death machine into hero.
sounds like a old. Was this a Daily Bugle headline or something? Is J. Jonah Jameson putting these out? Like, what is this? What's going on here?
Alrighty. Well, let me find my start of the show here.
Well, while you're trying to find it, I'll just say that this show kicked off with Tasha versus Rosemary.
There we go.
That's right. It's Tasha. It's Rosemary. There's still heat from the hamburger monkey flip. We've got to settle this. Damn it! We can't let this go unresolved. You can't just put a little hamburger thing on and start monkey flipping people around all over the ring without retribution. So we had the match. But let's start with Brandon and let him talk about the match, whatever he wants to say, right off the top.
I mean, just your basic, show opener, get the crowd up, something quick, easy, simple, basic, your typical curtain jerker match, get the crowd warmed up.
Do you think they warmed him up?
Yeah, they did a decent enough job.
I wonder what number match this was of those fans having to sit there in that place.
Good point, yeah.
How many Decay matches had they seen that day?
Yeah. All right, guys, here comes Decay again.
Wow, we got like 5 Decay matches in a row. Wow, this.
They're shooting all the show openers at once. They'll piece it together in editing. Yeah. Just some notes for the workers here. Tasha Steeles does the one-handed, as Jim Cornette calls it, the head palm shoot off on Rosemary, who's significantly bigger than her. And Rosemary's not a very big individual, but Tasha is incredibly tiny. And my question is, why can tiny people just not acknowledge their tininess? Like, what is the deal? Like, you know what you look like every time you go out there. You see yourself in the mirror. You know what you look like. You know what you weigh. Don't act like you're fucking Zeus or something out there and just grabbing people by the head and everything like that. You just treat it like just there's some actual respect for the person that you're in there with that's bigger than you. She did like a one-handed mare too. Like, you normally, if you want to do like a mare, you grab the person by the neck, or the ladies use the hair sometimes, and just throw them down like a shoulder throw. And she's just like, ha. You know what I mean? Twice as heavy as you. Get down there. I don't need my second hand. I can pose with this second hand. I just like that kind of stuff, and I'm telling this to Tasha because I like Tasha. And so you need to shore up these weird little things that you do to be a better performer overall, and to try to make what you're doing somewhat legitimate, as legitimate as you can. Now for Rosemary's note. Rosemary, for the okay. Explain yourself, Colin, because the people that are listening can't see what you just did.
They don't need to see. That's all for Sonic.
Okay.
All right. For Sonic.
Okay, fine.
Just for you, Sonic. Everybody's gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and watch and see what Colin did for Sonic. But Sonic knows.
Okay. Sonic knows. So for Rosemary, so just for the cutoff spot on random TV match is her missing a missile drop kick off the top. So she's basically just taking a top rope back bump, just jumping off the top and landing on your back. Like, honey, nobody needs to see this in a random, as Brandon said, curtain jerker match. You don't need to take a bump like that. You need to save those bumps for when they actually are going to mean something. No one's going to remember this. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go that far. And it meant nothing really, just the way she did it, because the match wasn't long enough for this to be like devastating enough for her to sell it even. And it just seemed like an afterthought, but I noticed it. So, and I'm pretty sure that she's had some injuries in the past too. So again, preserve yourself. Try to last, especially for an Impact taping. If you're a contracted Impact talent and you're having these tapings and you got to do maybe multiple matches in a day or a couple of days and stuff, just think about that. And then if you want to do something at Bound for Glory where it's going to actually like get a reaction from the crowd, then you can think about doing something like that, as long as you can do it safely. But here, where this was, and we just were talking about last week, the unfortunate thing that happened, that you may be able to trace it all the way back to one bump that should never have happened, even though it was on a pay-per-view. Just always be aware that you only have so many of these bumps. Okay, that's enough for me.
Your bump card is limited. That's what he said in a nutshell. Everybody gonna take all the bumps when they can get in the ring and out. Yeah, I guess Sonic does kind of have a point there. Like, I guess they're trying to seize their time on camera and just doing as much as they possibly can. That could be what's going on there.
Well, I'll tell you this: if I was Rosemary and I went back and watched that match and saw how that bump came off, saw how the announcers treated it, saw how the fans reacted to it, saw how the match looked before and after it, because sometimes it's different when you're in the middle, you can't see the forest for the trees. You go back and watch the tape, she's going to be like, I shouldn't have done that. I guarantee it. She would look at that, and once you see the whole thing as it's presented on camera, you would be like, fuck, I wasted that. So, you know.
So you saying she'll go home and say, then you shouldn't have said it. But like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, to herself, yeah.
Shouldn't have done that. So after the match, we have Sarah Evans stepping into the ring, and while Rosemary and Havoc are kind of occupied with Evans, Tasha Steelz sneaks back in the ring, steals the belts, and runs out of there with the Knockouts tag team titles that are not rightfully theirs. And do you think Rosemary would like have some kind of like, with the special powers that Rosemary has, you would think that like she'd put a curse on it, then she could just like snap her fingers and like the belt would just reappear back in her possession. Like there's no way with her supernatural abilities you're gonna be able to get very far with these belts. Or she can just teleport. Like they've done way too much with like Decay having these superpowers and even Violent by Design having these superpowers, which we're gonna see in the next segment. Just like, come on, guys. Like, can we be consistent with this stuff?
Yeah, just use your magic powers and zap the belts right back to your hand. And on the other hand, are we doing another thing where people steal title belts that they didn't win? Like, how many times are they going to do this?
Can they throw them in a river?
Yeah. Brandon, are you a fan of the whole steal the title belt thing?
I mean, every once in a while, sure. Also, the run back looked weak too. It's like they weren't really even trying to chase them.
Right.
They were too tired from the match, and they had to conserve energy for the next match that they're going to shoot at the taping.
Yeah, and that's probably why they couldn't use their powers too, because it's a drain on your stamina to use the powers.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Well, we got to see a baptism. Who would have thought that Joel Osteen was going to come on Impact Wrestling and baptize people? Joel Osteen, ladies and gentlemen, in the Impact Zone. Oh no, wait, that's Eric Young. That's not. Why does Eric Young look like Joel Osteen in this segment?
He doesn't.
What?
Your joke is just failing to land. We skipped over an important component here, which is Ace Austin and Gia. And once again, this had no music, so it wasn't a fluke. They have finally gotten rid of the music underneath the promos. You are all welcome. Thank you. Ace talking to Scott D'Amore. Then now we know why Fulton doesn't talk, because he tried to talk here. Scott makes a 10-man tag for next week, and then Ace just walks a few more feet over to the right and recruits Brian Myers in front of his weird little group. But the important thing is there's no music.
No music. We're done with that.
Yeah. Did you see? What'd you think of Brandon? What's your favorite Madman Fulton promo?
Best one cut yet. No, I like this. It actually set something up, threaded it throughout the show, and then it paid off at the end. I mean, you don't really see it that often anymore.
Right. We almost didn't hear about it because Colin not Colin, but this guy.
Well, Manolo actually started his recap off with the Ace Austin thing, because I think that's the main story of the show.
Who the fuck taught this guy how to recap?
He throws the important stuff up at the top to kind of hit you off, and then he pulls it down. So so we have basically Ace Austin and Christian will be recruiting people to join their teams throughout the show. But then we're going to go back to Eric Young and his mega church, Violent by Design.
Or back to Shawshank, where Rhino's still in the hole. Hey, here's a question for you guys. Is Violent by Design some sort of fucking supervillain league, or are they four guys fighting in spandex?
No, it's totally the supervillain. They're the supervillain league.
Like, what do they think they're going to do as pro wrestlers? Do they think they're going to take over the world or something? They're
going to get rid of the infection, bro.
They're four wrestlers of mostly like 50% of them are small guys. Like, you're not going to take over the world with Rhino and Joe Doring. It's just wrestling. They couldn't even hang on to the tag team championships.
I don't know.
Of Impact.
Well,
like, how sad is it? What'd you say, Brandon?
Well, Eric Young's talking about the truth and whatnot. Maybe he's wanting to spread that throughout Impact and open people's minds and recruit more people there.
So he's dreaming small. Okay. Yeah.
And Sonic the Hedge-Rat, ain't nobody looking for Rhino. Rhino has no loved ones. I mean, Heath Slater's not there anymore. Where's Heath? Heath needs to come back. That's his loved one.
Right.
Is Heath Slater gonna be the guy that comes back and destroys Violent by Design?
Well, you already asked me that.
What if Heath comes back and is the one that breaks it up? Like, he becomes the babyface in all this and destroys the infection and destroys Violent by Design.
or maybe they maybe
I
Rhino
got kids.
maybe Rhino brings him in and he's just a member, but he acts like himself and destroys the whole mood of the group. Like he's that awkward guy that you don't want in the group, you know? Like,
Hey guys, you think my kids are good? They're not infected, are they? Heath, come on. Come on. Hey, Eric, you think my kids can come along?
Yeah. I like to see it. Anything to break this up. Cuz this is like way too like Buckshot Kid says the vignettes have been some of the best in wrestling today, and technically in the way that they're produced, like I can see his point, but like what you see in these vignettes of these guys and then how this relates to wrestling matches in the Impact Zone, it's a complete and total like it's way too different. Like you can't live up to the promise of these vignettes. They're talking about like big grand things, and then they just have like 4-way tag matches at the pay-per-view where they lose their Impact Championships. Like doesn't add up.
I would say go ahead, Brandon.
Kind of like when Jeff Jarrett's kind of trying to use the WWF to take over Nashville.
Yeah, pretty much. But at least, but that like the way they explain that makes sense in a twisted way. This is like, you know, because the WWF is big enough, and then this guy is ridiculous enough that you'd think he might try something like that. What do these guys want? Like, it's just, it seems like they'd be in a movie. Like, they'd be like cult characters in a movie that the hero would have to like rescue his kidnapped girlfriend from. But the scope of what they're doing can only be confined in that movie or whatever. But if you took like, think if you take the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, and instead of having them like run a cannibal chili restaurant, they're just pro wrestlers and they do fake phony wrestling. And the guy brings a chainsaw to the ring wearing human skin, but he never cuts anybody with it. Like, it's just what are we doing here? Your concept has outshot your actual stage to perform on. You know, it's too high concept. You know, even I don't like the Bray Wyatt stuff. I don't. But the WWE is ubiquitous and worldwide enough that you could think like, okay, this guy could see some reason to use this as a platform or whatever. Impact's not a big enough platform for these guys, but even what they're doing, I don't know, man.
And then they bring out funny gimmick giant hammer, which you could never use on anyone, so that whole prop was just stupid. Violent by Design. I mean, I like Violent by Design. I was gonna say there was a Kirkland brand golf ball that was made in a factory that used to make the Titleist Pro V1s. And when Kirkland when they started making the balls for Kirkland, they were still making the Titleist Pro V1 golf balls, but just slapping the Kirkland name on it. I kind of feel like that's what Violent by Design is. Like it's something that could be really good. Like if it was on a platform where it could foster and like grow and really like you said, it's on the wrong platform. So I feel like it's a pro tour style gimmick, but it's wrapped in an Impact. It's got the Impact logo slapped on the ball. And so it's just it's a great ball. Like, and you can get this ball for $3 compared to what you would pay for the Titleist Pro V1, you know, and it's the same exact ball. And people were going to Kirkland's, buying out all the balls, and then turning around and reselling them on on eBay and stuff for the price of Titleist Pro V1s. So much so that they had to send a cease and desist letter to that Asian company that was making them. But maybe we'll get a cease and desist from Decay on this.
They did have though this on the WWE. It was called Sanity, and then somebody said, "I don't get it, pal." Like, so, and then a couple years later, here comes Retribution. So, you know, that just shows you how fucked the big platforms are.
It's true.
Yeah. So.
All right. We have got our bunkhouse brawl.
Mm-hmm. What about either of these guys says bunkhouse to you?
Carl Anderson is from North Carolina. That's about it.
Got a lot of bunkhouses out there, dude. Let's talk about this idiot for a second. This is a no rules match. It's a bunkhouse brawl. You can basically do whatever you want. And Carl's got his hands all taped up, and the first strike he throws is a European uppercut. This is why I say whenever the Good Brothers are on screen, I just check out, because this is just a rib to them, and they no longer care about integrity whatsoever. So, like, how can I care about it? Yeah, another funny thing is D'Lo oversells this plywood bump. They've got these thin plywood boards in there that barely crack when the guy lands on them, and D'Lo oversells this bump like he sells it like it is the Mick Foley cell bump. He's like, oh my God, there's splinters everywhere, and I think he's doing it on purpose.
Trying to earn that paycheck, man.
I think he's ribbing, because a striker just giggled like when he said it. He couldn't contain himself as D'Lo's screaming about splinters everywhere. You just hear striker go, like that's his reaction to the guy going through the board, which I guess tells you all you need to know about this match in this segment. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys want to talk about it? Anything
No, not really, unless Brandon has something on it.
Man, all I know is that had to suck when that table did not break on that finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that. Happens a lot.
It has been. It was a Japanese table.
It was.
Where-
They wish it
I
was a
think
Japanese table.
Kojima left some of those when he came over.
Those must have sucked to bring through the airport. Like just bring like a rolling cart
It's
of
his carry-on.
tables, and yet
Carry on.
you
Kojima's
could-
getting
there's-
on the plane with the
they're small enough that you could carry one on, but you're gonna have to check the rest. I don't know. It's just I don't know, man.
But hey, look, just like us, Buckshot Kid did not give two shits about this match.
You were right, Buckshot Kid. You were absolutely right not to do it. My thing is, like, I did another note though. Like, Carl Anderson goes over in this match, which is essentially like a handicap match, because Gallows is there the whole time, and no one really comes out to help during the match. Doesn't help Rich Swann. He's just out there. And the beginning part of the match, he's like kicking both their asses, which is fine. The way they did it was fine. It was half-ass believable. It just in the sense that, I've eaten sandwiches bigger than Rich Swann, but other than that, like the way they did the whole thing, it looked somewhat believable. The way he'd keep going back and forth, attacking him and taking Gallows out of it. But once they actually cut him off, and once they actually cut him off and start the heat on Rich Swann, they should have just double teamed him like it's a handicap match, gave him nothing, and then beat him, because that's the finish anyways. So why would you have a guy out there in a no rules match, like just standing at the apron, like looking like it's fucking, you're dumb. Just beat his ass. He's going over anyway. Just get in there and get it over with, so we don't have to watch this, right, Brandon?
Yep, and that would have been the perfect spot where you could have had the heat down, bring back Mac for the spot, have the the babies up, and then get the heat on them going into the pay-per-view next week.
Yep. So simple.
So Sonic the Hedge Rat wants you to roast someone, Brandon. We need a fire roast here on this segment. Give us your negative comments about this match.
Man, I mean the only real like negative, at least the only negative note I got in here was just it went way too long of Swann being on both of those guys. I mean, yeah, it was booked to make sense, it was laid out to make sense, but for a guy his size, he should not have been going that long. Should have probably been about half as long. And then just the 2-on-1 beatdown.
Yep. It was too long. And I think that again, just because of the nature of the finish and how they want the business to go, there's really no reason to have just a regular match. That's the thing, that like these people have all these stipulations and they do things to try to add variety to the show, but they all end up playing out more or less the same. They want people to feel like, oh, they're going over, but you can get your shit in, like it's you're getting your shit in. Well, it's not always about getting your shit in. Sometimes your shit is to take the beating so that people are sympathetic towards you. Sometimes that's more valuable than just doing moves to a guy that no one believes is real anyways. So just sell and then, take a night off. Just let them stomp and kick you and hit you with one move. Like, I'd rather do that than try to just have a whole full match that you remember,
Save it for the pay-per-view. Make them pay to see your shit.
Right. And we know they're not going to because it's Impact. But, the sentiment is there. The sentiment is there.
Okay, he's clarifying. He just wants more Brandon on the show. Sonic needs that Brandon. He's like, hey, y'all got any more of that Brandon back there? Can I get some of that?
Peanut butter and Brandon sandwich.
Peanut butter and Brandon crap.
And I think I tasted egg and cinnamon.
Y'all know we be stealing tag titles around here.
I can get some money for this.
Yeah.
I don't know
Brandon,
about those Impact titles.
Yeah. And if we go past something, you can go back to it. Go back to it if you have some shit to get in. If you have shit to get in, get your shit in. And if you don't have shit to get in, make shit up. It don't matter.
Yes. A classic line. I got these cheeseburgers.
the don't be a menace. Ew. I don't want any cheeseburgers.
Oh man, yeah, like totally. Just you don't hold back, Brandon. That's what we want here at the Impact. It's the Impact attack. You attack.
You saw what attacking got us, right? It got us no music under the Gia promos now.
And if we keep going, we might get Moose as champion.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. But guess what? You're gonna get some music under the next promo here because I'm gonna play some.
This actually did have music. If this is the Mickey James one.
Mickey James was in a producer role when asking Deonna Purrazzo to participate at NWA Empower. You have to roll the R's, right? It's got 3 R's. You say Empower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, maybe.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I was just wondering. James is now in wrestler mode. Uh-oh. She flipped the switch. She's now wrestler mode. After Purrazzo attacked her at NWA 73, the champ will learn what hardcore country is all about. No thoughts? Nothing? That pretty much self-explanatory on this segment.
I just didn't understand why she had to come out in a mask and attack Mickey James. Like, why she didn't come out and attack us herself? Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could tell by the curves who that was.
Yeah. This interview actually did have music under it, but it is different because this was presented as a produced and taped seg. So it's different than when Gia's just standing there in front of the Impact sign. So, but the weird thing about it was they really pushed the hardcore country thing like she's the Finn Balor demon or something. Like, you guys don't want to see hardcore country. What is that? Is hardcore country a character? Is that just the name of the fucking song you did on your country album?
Apparently this is what hardcore country used to be.
Hardcore country used to be about doing Mandingo-style pornos dressed as a cheerleader in a locker room. What do you mean used to, media?
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, this promo brought to you by Deonna Purrazzo's theme song. Deonna Purrazzo's theme song. When you need an entrance theme and you're Deonna Purrazzo, you use Deonna Purrazzo's entrance theme. All right,
man, I gotta get me one of those. The way you sold it,
so fire. That interesting. It's so fire. If you ever need to make an entrance, Vet, you hit that Deonna Purrazzo entrance theme. Everybody knows who's coming in.
Okay. I will throw Auto Bio by the Jizza in the trash.
Yeah, tell Ray that song won't get you a DMCA copyright.
That's right.
Do we have Drama King up next, or we have Christian filling out his team?
No, we had Drama King.
Drama King, he is coming in for Trey Miguel next week. He admires Trey's artistic style in the ring and wants to experience it up close and personal.
I like the Drama King. I think he's exactly the kind of person that Impact needs, where he's not so big that you're like, what is this guy doing here? But he's clearly outclassing a lot of the other guys with his look and his presentation and experience.
I think a lot of people were shocked when the WWE let him go, because I think he was doing excellent on the commentary desk. You know, it's kind of shocking they couldn't find anything for him.
No, it's not shocking, and it's not that they couldn't. It's just that they didn't want him there. That's basically when they don't let people go that they want there. If you see somebody leave that company, it's because they didn't care enough to keep them, no matter who that is. I do think it's funny, like the idea that you hear some people say lately, like, Vince. Did Vince not show up at Monday Night Raw this week because he's stressed out about Adam Cole going to AEW? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding? He still doesn't know who Adam Cole is, and he met him.
No, he does. He was trying to make Adam Cole Keith Lee's heel manager.
No, that was Bruce. And then that was Bruce's idea. And Vince said, well, I mean, of course, I'm just saying this. I don't know for a fact that was Bruce's idea, but come on, it's Bruce's idea. And he told that to Vince, and Vince was like, who's Adam Cole? And Bruce was like, all right, I'll tell Johnny Ace to let him go. But he wasn't going to stay anyways. But the point is that's the idea that, like, people are so misinformed about, you know, where Vince McMahon's priorities lie. They think he's actually, like, doing a lot of the stuff himself, and he's not. So he sees an Aiden English out there, and he's like, well, I don't need another bald, pale, skinny guy on my show, even if he can do commentary, or even if he can be a manager, or even if he can do a bunch of other things that I have no interest in doing on my show. I don't want him here. Let him go, or whatever. It's basically that. What it comes down to is someone probably has, like, a list, and then somebody else, like, gets to make the decision, and then Vince will find out about it, and then it'll be like, oh well, he's not gonna care. If no one's gonna get brought, no one like Aiden English would need to get brought to Vince's attention. Like, Vince, are you sure you want to let Aiden English go? He would not be on that conversation. He would be one of the Vince will find out later, hey, whatever happened to that one guy? Oh, he's gone? Okay, that's fine. That's the kind of guy Aiden English is. But as a useful, talented guy, he can really shine and impact. It's unfortunately a very hard place to see the shine for a lot of people.
Yeah. And like, kind of like Buckshot Kid. I mean, they kind of brought him in to maybe talk for Deanna, and maybe he's going to roll that into... he seems like the type of guy that can turn lemons into lemonade. Like, he did the Rusev Day thing. You know, he's gonna seize that brass ring here in Impact. Or it's probably more like a sterling silver or a silicone band type of ring at Impact. But he's definitely gonna try to strive for that, and he's gonna outperform almost everybody. Brandon, your thoughts?
I mean, I like it. I mean, it's interesting, different. It's honestly, there's a lot of different ways I can go with this.
I like that media says that Vince probably thinks Adam Cole is a value brand of barbecue charcoal. That is true. He probably does. And Buckshot Kid, like you said, about, you know, talking for Deanna, says she's a shitty talker. Well, yeah, that is a good reason to bring him in, but that hasn't stopped her from doing any promo since he's been there. In fact, a lot of the time he's standing there quietly as she's cutting a shitty promo or whatever. But she knows that she's not good at it. In fact, if anybody read the interviews she did recently talking about her time in NXT and what happened to her there, she actually said that she was trying to figure out, how to move up in their system to be out of, like, intermediate classes that she was already more advanced than. Like, how does one get to be, what is the path? What is the path out of developmental? Basically, like, what do I have to do? And she said that anytime that she had extra time, she would go and do in those, because they have I don't know if everybody knows this, but they have like a room that's wired for sound for promos and stuff like that people could just go in the box and do promos for practice, and then they can like they'll be recorded and they can like watch them back, watch the promos back.
Is it like the confession booth in like the real world?
Maybe, but I've never seen the actual booth. I've only heard tell of it, so I don't know what it looks like or how big it is or whatever, or if it's or if you get little, if the Miz is in there, but but anyways, yeah. So she knows that she's not good at promos, but you gotta just keep doing them in order to get better at it. And even if they don't agree, they still are not letting Drama King do much of the talking for her. She's still doing most of the talking. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to see him kind of get interjected into that X division, maybe. Kind of this Trey Miguel and him as this launching point for his singles career. And maybe him and Deanna are kind of paired at the hip. Like, yeah, he does cut promos for her, but he does start his own path here at Impact. And maybe in a month or so, 2 months or so, we see him maybe taking on Josh Alexander for that title, or potentially even winning that title and carrying it as a heel for a little while.
Well, he needs that. I mean, but he doesn't have to just do one or the other. You can just, why can't you be friends with Deonna Purrazzo and have your own career at the same time? There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And that's what I think a lot of things in wrestling are they don't make sense, because logically you're thinking, why would this happen? Why would this not happen? Like, people are in the same building. Why would you not see an interaction there? You know what I mean? Like, if guys have heat, and then or like it's like a partner thing of like a misunderstanding, and they want to do an angle where they're gonna argue about it, and then they wait like all week until the next TV show for both of them, for somebody to come out with a microphone and then the other guy to come out with a microphone. Like, so you didn't talk to each other all week, like texting. You didn't have any other shows to drive to. You didn't talk when you got to the building that day in the back. Like, you had to wait until to resolve your issue until the camera was on and you had a microphone in your hand and you had to get your entrance music played and you had to do your full entrance and everything. That's when you decide to talk out your problems. Like, there's too much of that kind of shit in wrestling. And you need to think about more, like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like back in the 80s when DC could have had the original extended, like, connected universe. 'Cause they could have had the Michael Keaton Batman, the Christopher Reeve Superman. They could have done all kinds of stuff back then because Warner Brothers owned all those properties, but they couldn't think that far ahead. I mean, you look at the Batman 89, like, they killed the Jack Nicholson Joker in the first movie, for Christ's sake. They had no sense of forethought of like, well, what else could we do with this? Like, what kind of creativity could we come up with here? It's got to be like everything's like a one and done. And wrestling's the same way. They only think about like what's right in front of them at a given time, and they don't think about the possibilities of these people interacting and the drama that can create, the captivating entertainment that we could get from knowing that all these people are in a small building, But what do I know?
You know a lot, sir. You're the fucking vet. You don't discount yourself like that.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Rohit Raju, some Rohit time.
Not quite. First we get a Bound for Glory 2013 recap, which I only bring up because it paints. They want to show Sabin winning this title, this X Division title, but it kind of paints Sabin in an unfavorable light, kind of just throwing Velvet Sky around, like our own Velvet Sky from the Beautiful People podcast and NWA. He's just shoving her in the ring, saying, "Hey, go get that belt for me, ho." You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. This is not the Chris Sabin we're getting now. So you're showing like a past version of him that's a dick, and he's supposed to be the hero. Now he's still coming off like a dick now because he beat Moose, and I hate him. But you see what I'm saying here? How this is a weird discrepancy.
Yeah, I mean, he's an 8-time champion. You couldn't pick these seven other ones that he had.
Right. Why this one? Because you're not going to get through all 8 before we get the next pay-per-view. So, I don't know. It's very weird. And then Alexander's with Gia and no music underneath. And Alexander brings up my point from last week about, well, Saban just lost the belt 8 times, so why am I supposed to be impressed by that? And then Christian walks up, continuing the thread of the show, introduces himself, wants to recruit Josh Alexander for his team. And then we get to Rohit and Shira in a vignette.
There's a little bit of tension there too between Alexander and Christian Cage, which I kind of liked, which kind of puts a little extra in the 10-man because there's so much going on.
Is that Canadian tension? What's up with that?
Yeah, is one from Christian's from Winnipeg, right? Is he a Winnipeg guy?
I don't know.
I have to look it up. There could be some heat, provincial heat there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brendan.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Let's see. Vet, you go ahead and continue while I look this up. You keep it going.
Well, in the Rohit and Shira vignette, it's just Rohit sitting there talking about kneeing Chelsea in the face, which I'm sure Brandon's still hot at. But he turned Rohit, he called it the tiger knee, which is over with me as a Street Fighter fan. But he also turned it into a sex thing. Like, he made this about sex. Did he not? Am I wrong? He definitely made this about sex. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yes,
so Christian Cage, is from Ontario. So he's not from Winnipeg. So there could be some Ontario Winnipeg heat there. I don't know.
Where's Josh Alexander from?
Let me look it up. I think he's...
Why did you interrupt Brandon if you didn't know where Josh Alexander's from? Please continue, Brandon.
Sorry.
Oh shit! I totally forgot where I was at. Yeah, it says something about like being with real men and whatnot. Yeah, and it's like it's a. Sorry,
okay.
I just wow. Woof. Sorry.
No, you're good, Brandon. I kind of threw you off there. That was totally my bad. Josh Alexander is also from Ontario, so now we need to boil this down. Christian is from Kitchener. I don't know if I'm saying that. If I'm saying that,
I'm sure. Okay, why did it get British there at the end?
And then he was born. Josh Alexander was born in Bolton, and he resides in Toronto. So anyone that knows any kind of
he can't afford to live in Toronto on an Impact salary. He still lives in Bolton.
Is there beef between Kitchener and the town Bolton or wherever it is that Josh Alexander's from? Is there like high school tension? Whatever it is, there could be some heat there. You never know.
I don't know. Well, he ends up joining the team. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. He'll be all right. Whatever it is, they worked it out. But I don't know if Rohit and Chelsea are going to work out this sexual tension that has now been created by him cutting this perverse promo about, she liked it. I felt it. That kind of thing.
Well, she wanted a real man to take control, so that's why he kneed her in the face.
Yeah. And I can see how, like, again, being with a man that takes baths with his action figures, I can understand how she'd want a real man. But, nonetheless, she's going to leave him. You know that, right? Like, I just want to throw that out there. Chelsea's going to leave Matt Cardona. It's going to happen. I'm not talking about an angle either. I'm talking about as a shoot. Like,
most wrestling relationships
this man will get besides that, though, they're accelerated by the fact that, he's one of those toy guys. So like, there's not a woman that will accept this. Like, I don't see women action figure enthusiasts. I know they must exist because this is a very diverse planet we live on. But, like, in general, I'm just saying that, like, I don't see that. And we just look at his track record of being with hot chicks and them having enough of him. Like, I'm sure he's the common denominator there because he really only has one wife.
You spent how much on that toy?
Yeah, that is his Chase Akeem with the different colored dashiki that Hasbro released in 1990 or whatever the fuck. He's not going to have time for women. So Sonic says that's why men shouldn't wrestle women. Too many holes look sexual. No, that's why they should wrestle women. Too many holes look sexual.
Too many holes look sexual. All right,
brother, that's heat.
David Finley defeating Chris Bay. Bay, he was undefeated since joining Bullet Club. Now he hits his first loss. Bay tries to win with a roll-up with his feet on the ropes, but Juice Robinson returning from injury to help his teammate, while Finley used the distraction to win on a roll-up. After the match, we get an Impact debut as Hikuleo is in the Impact Zone.
What is he doing here?
What is he doing
We
here?
got that from D'Lo Brown, the classic. What is he doing here?
And I hate it because it's like, and I like Hikuleo and all those guys, but it's just like, all right, why aren't we getting Tama? Like, why are we getting great value Tama? Let's get the real Tama.
I'll tell you exactly why, if you want to know why.
Why?
Because Tama Tonga and Tongaloa are participants in the G1 Climax 31. So they have to make sure they're back in Japan in enough time to be quarantined and everything like that. So they're not going to be making any Impact debuts here. They've got a G1 to fight in.
The G
That's,
Spot
you know,
Climax.
yeah, I was gonna say the New Japan is very tantric with the fact that they have this climax going on for as long as they do. That's talent. I don't think Sting, like the singer Sting, not the performer Sting, has that kind of endurance.
No, it's a very grueling tournament, if you know what I mean. Well, you know how Japan is. They see an English word and it sounds cool to them, so they use it.
Oh, wow.
Like
Buckshot Kid in the chat. We're talking about Chelsea Green. She could be an adult battery-operated toy fan. So not only...
And you definitely got to take those out of the package.
Yeah.
100%.
So like half of the room is all of Cardona's action figures, and then all of the other half of the room is all of Chelsea Green's vintage dildos.
Yeah. Boxed. Mint on card, I believe
dildo.
there.
This is the first Jenna Jameson printed dildo here. This is like worth $5,000.
All right.
Lab
be
Rat
just
says
about enough
long
of that.
climaxes.
Yeah. Long climax.
Long.
But yeah, so that's why we're not going to be getting the Girls of Destiny here, but we'll get this other Haku-san, who's nice.
He's like a giant.
Yeah, I'll say this, like, maybe because they do this whole thing that I'm tired of, where some guy runs out and D'Lo Brown has to say, "What is he doing here?" Like, I'm so tired of that. Maybe it would have been better if he just came out with Chris Bay, like, "Hey, I'm your manager," and that would have, they could have got some heat that way. When the babyface cheated to win at the end of this, it would have been like payback and not just, oh, we're just babyfaces cheating to win. Now, it was mild cheating, but I mean, Juice Robinson did hobble out to like push the foot off the ropes or whatever he did. So, I think maybe just promoting maybe a surprise manager for Bay like in the previous week, or just have him just walk out just cold, and then you can say, hey, that's Hikuleo from the Bullet Club, so Chris Bay's got some backup tonight. And then you don't have to sound so cheesy, acting like, what is he doing here? That's just my thought on it, but the match was good.
Brandon, you got anything?
It was nice of them to wear different gear this week so they didn't look like tag partners.
Yeah.
Still
Anything
not
else?
Sure he's not Kofi Kingston, but
Yeah, that's true.
It's your usual indie spot fest, but at least it looked like they were fighting each other. It didn't look like a choreographed dance. I mean, it looked like they were at least trying to fight each other instead of just buddies dancing like you usually see in AEW.
Look at that shots. Brandon throwing shots at AEW. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Where do we go from here? You know what? I'm going to have to find some new notes because I really don't like that he's just so all over the place. Are we at the contract signing or TJPs? Yeah, that's what let me scroll back up here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Christian's next step took place after the X Division's contract signing for Alexander versus Chris Sabin. So we're going to get Alexander versus Chris Sabin. Victory Road, they have signed their contracts.
Sabin didn't even stand up to shake Josh Alexander's hand.
So it's not even a professional. He's not.
What
He's
a
the
prick.
least professional wrestler in Impact Wrestling.
Throwing Velvet around, not standing up to shake a person's hand, just total disrespect. He wouldn't have even stood up to shake Christian's hand if he wasn't already trying to leave when Christian walked in. So, I don't know.
I am. I already did. Shadiness over here.
Sonic says Colin's looking like he's breaking in his own house.
Yes, I actually have a picture of me breaking into my friend's house because they locked their keys. They locked their keys in the house. I'm like, I can break in for you. Let's see. Christian. You know what? Christian looking to round out his
Swingers Palace.
Yeah, fuck it. All right, TJP's looking to put it all on Burt Macklin. Isn't that like trying to just go into the casino and saying, I put it all on 00?
Maybe,
because it's maybe like usually the least the percentage of chance of you landing on 00 is very small.
I know that, but I don't think that the percentage is as small as Burt Macklin beating Petey Williams.
That's
again.
Sis
man.
Yeah, but this is you're burying the lead here. This is the return of Swingers Palace.
It is the return of Swingers Palace.
And my only notes for this was Jesus Christ. So, Brandon, if you have anything, this is your first taste of Swingers Palace, I believe, since you've been watching. They kind of took a hiatus while they used that same exact room for All About Me tapings.
It was definitely something different.
No shit.
I mean, it could definitely be an interesting plot device.
Yeah, this is where all the matches get made here.
Yeah, apparently, like when they did the Wrestle House, like that was just like top notch stuff. So they're trying to roll the Wrestle House stuff into like Swingers Palace, and it's kind of getting over. Like certain segments do, certain segments don't. But what's not getting over is this Kimberly Sue Young stuff here. Is Kimberly's kind of lurking around the corner, looking to snatch some more souls. She gonna? Is
she gonna grab that fat broad that looks exactly like her that works there, that's standing next to Alicia? Like
the one that was like asking questions that looks like she's the first one that's gonna die in a horror movie.
With the little paw tattoos on her chest. It's fucking ridiculous. God, this whole thing. This is why nobody watches this show. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
The hardcores do. The hardcores still watch it.
Shit. Yeah, well, I hope they like this this terrible comedy that Johnny Swingers no better than the Young Bucks. He's just ribbing this business.
Well, I think the gaming commission needs to be called on TJP because Steve Macklin defeated Petey Williams. There has to be something here. You can't bet on someone and then mess with the match so that you win. This isn't the NBA, folks. We're not referees here allowing LeBron James to get 30 steps to the basket. Like this we can't just rig matches like this so that you can win money. How is Swingers going to be very upset about this? Swingers probably not going to let TJP come back into Swingers Palace next week.
Oh, that's a good hook for next week.
That is a good hook. You're going hard in the paint, as Sonic would like to say. Vet, you are.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm too tired to go as hard as I want. And
Dollar Tree Casino, that was a good one. I like that too.
Yes. No way was roasting this segment as rightly he should. It was kind of funny. It was almost like I was standing in there, but I'm not like 6'5" Dominican with an afro. Did you have any actual notes for the match, Brandon, or?
Not really. It seems just like it went way too short. Didn't really go anywhere until the TJP finish.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. If you're gonna dress like a young lion, then you might as well join the dojo and get an education for it. Like, this is why Burt Macklin, FBI, is never gonna get any kind of significantly over because he's just a fucking boring white guy. That's it. There's no reason to watch him. There's nothing you would tell somebody. Just like Brandon said. What am I going to say about this? Like, there's nothing I could tell my friends or anybody else that's an interested wrestling fan to watch Steve Macklin do. There's nothing you could give me. You could say anything about any of these guys. If you wanted to say, Chris Bay is really athletic and he has this gimmick where he's like this cocky prick or whatever, or if you want to talk about, Aiden English doing this drama gimmick or these other things that you could tell people like, oh, these are different little things. Some, he's big, but he's not big enough to be a big guy, not like a Madman Fulton or something, and he's not small. He's just an average size for what you'd he's the bare minimum what you expect a wrestler to be. And he's got black trunks and boots and knee pads. Again, like a young lion, like I'm saying, but he's not as good a wrestler as the New Japan Young Lions. So when he was punching Petey Williams in the corner, was Macklin saying boom every time he threw a punch? Was he?
Boom goes the dynamite.
I'm asking you, Brandon. You watched it. Was he sitting there going boom every time he punched him?
Yeah,
like a mark?
I think he was.
Fucking mark. Yeah, exactly. And then, like, the conga line distraction, okay? Like, I guess it's okay if you just, maybe if somebody that's playing against the LA Lakers wants to just bring a conga line and do like a conga line around courtside. I don't know if that's technically illegal. So if LeBron James misses
only
his
during
layup
free throws
or during free throws, like if he misses something, like, I don't know if you could really blame the conga line. So maybe there's not enough sufficient evidence of tampering here, but I will say that if you're booking a wrestling card, this is the second distraction finish in a row. And you already know that there's way too many distraction finishes in wrestling as a whole, Impact specifically. So, those are things you need to be aware of as you're editing this show together. If they do, in fact, shoot a bunch of matches and then put them whatever the order they want, maybe don't put 2 distraction finishes back to back. Just an idea.
Well, no distraction finishes there, but
maybe they're playing it with basketball rules and doing psych outs.
Yeah, that's true. These are basketball rules.
Steve
It's not like horse.
Perry.
It's not like horse.
I thought you said no more journey psych outs.
Hey, I hear your mom's going out with Squeak.
What? Hey!
God, that fucking movie.
God damn it.
You little bitch, dude.
Oh gosh, that's such a good fucking show. If you don't go out there and make this shot, I'm gonna shove your head so far up your fucking ass you have to wear yourself as a hat.
Dude,
all right,
dude,
Christian's
dude,
next
dude.
step. We could sit here all night. It's gonna be basic. The last half of this show is gonna be nothing but basketball quotes here. So Christian is looking to we're already there. Christian's trying to round out his quintet with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. The problem is Eddie still doesn't trust Sami Callihan. And he's made the ultimatum that Christian has to choose between him or Sami. And of course, Ace's finals came looking for him. If Edwards and Callihan are going to be in the match, then Morrissey and our main man Moose want a piece of the action. And Ace's team was locked in. He was no way he is going to deny a guy like Morrissey and Moose on his team. I sure as hell wouldn't. You want to be on my team? Moose for sure. Morrissey I might have to think about. But Moose for sure. Moose all the way. Edwards goes to the ring for another solo round of fisticuffs with Moose, as Morrissey was ringside to assist Moose, and gets his foot on the ropes. Edwards retaliates against Morrissey, and that opens the window of opportunity for Moose to spear Eddie Edwards and pick up the victory. Though Moose and Morrissey were not finished as they commenced to beat up Eddie Edwards, which led to all of the participants. Who would have thought that this show was going to end with everybody coming out and everybody having a whole huge crazy thing out there in the ring with Christian's team standing tall to end the night. I mean, look, even we got Alicia Edwards running out with Kenny the kendo stick. I mean, this is crazy. This all hell is broken loose in Impact. What the fuck is going on here? So the vet does not know. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a second match that went over with a spear, and his looked way better than Rosemary's.
It's because he's fucking Moose.
He's a football player. I don't know about Rosemary's football credentials. Not saying she didn't play, but just not sure. Yeah, I have some notes for Moose because I love Moose.
Are you saying it's? I'm sorry. Is he saying that this is a good show because Big Ray didn't run in? No French Spider-Man? No Cam Tours of New York? No MTA crackheads or anything like that?
Yeah, I think he's saying that this show goes a little bit better when there's not a hallucinatory guest spot to derail everything.
We could have Redneck Boogeyman.
What does Redneck Boogeyman have to say?
I like worms. They delicious. Delicious worms. You like worms, Vet?
No.
You like worms, Brandon?
French
All right, now
worms.
I gotta go.
All right. Well.
Oh yeah, look, we can't mention his name 3 times. He's like Candyman. He might show up.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
one of his
Jesus,
accounts shows in with all caps. Is like, who said my name? So back to Moose. Let's talk more Moose for a second. Moose, if you're gonna chop a guy, just chop him. Like, I can tell that Moose has got like an agreement with Eddie. He didn't want to like hit him too hard or whatever, and so he's just doing the show chops and not like the chops. But he's got a damn shirt on. Just fucking hit him. You know, you don't have to take it easy on him, or just don't do it. Like, if you're not gonna chop, you don't have to do it. You could figure out a different spot. So I just don't like it when, you know, guys want to do a knife edge chop or whatever, but they also want to take the night off and not like do it the full, like 100% to try to blister a guy. Like, that's the whole reason that we do that move, is so that you have a move that people know, like, well, there's no other way to do that. He hit that guy. Other than that, you know, why else would you do it? Why would you half-assed lightly slap somebody on the chest or do like the glancing off? I know Moose knows what he's doing, and that's how I can tell, because, you know, I'm a chop scientist, so I know exactly how to hit a guy, where to hit a guy, the angle, the vector of approach, whatever you want to say, like to get the result.
Got the protractor and the ruler out, like measuring the velocity of chops.
Yes, I know how to hit a guy if I want him cut and bleeding. I know how to hit a guy if I want him bruised and swelling. I know how to hit a guy to make noise and leave no mark. I know how to hit a guy to leave a mark and make no noise.
How much of this did you learn from Von Lilas?
None. 0. I cut Von Lilas. That's what he got for stepping in the ring with me. Ooh. Yeah.
We're gonna clip that out and send that to Von Lilas.
Go ahead. He knows. He was there.
He was there. He's got the bruise on his chest still.
I gave him the old 2-week tattoo. You know, he's no stranger to it. A few people have worn that tattoo. Serena Deeb, you ever heard of her? 2-week tattoo. Yeah. Me.
Let's see. Who chops harder, Vet? Walter or Von Lilas?
I never got hit by Walter, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar. They probably can't be much different.
They say Walter chops pretty. Like a lot of the guys say Walter's a pretty heavy chopper.
He is. Well, I mean, but Von Lilas was. The Von Lilas has like a really long arm, so there's like a whiplash effect to it. Like, the key to getting a good smack on the meat. Well, first of all, like, the guy has to open up for you to a certain point, because you can fuck another guy's chop up yourself too. Like, if you walk into it, or if you tighten your chest muscles up, or like roll your shoulders in, you know, like you can.
You see him do that too sometimes.
Yeah, when guys don't want to get hit, or if they want to fuck with somebody, or both. Yeah, Like you'll take the sound away. But if you relax, if you keep your shoulders back, relax your chest, and just let him hit that top part of the meat, then it'll sound really good. And depending on the guy, he knows how he can get a good smack and get a good reaction of the crowd. Then he doesn't have to like blister you. Walter's just going to hit you, but he knows how not to if he doesn't want to. And same with Von Lilas, I'm sure. But there's ways to do this. And I can see that Moose is one of the guys that knows how to do it. And I can see from his match with Eddie, there's probably like an agreement, unspoken or spoken, where there was like, not too much, not too hard tonight, brother. Like, we don't need to do that. Unfortunately, it was a similar situation in that match with Ishii at the New Japan Resurgence show. Like, they were chopping each other, and it was okay, but like, I definitely saw them taking it easy, giving each other the night off chops. I'm like, bro, come on. How often do you get to wrestle each other? Just fucking lay it in, man. So anyways, if the guy's got a fucking shirt on, fuck him. Just hit him. Whatever. Or just don't do it. There's also the spot, and now Brandon, you have the referee experience. This is why I want to bring this up to you. The spot where they put the leg on the rope to save. Like, was that as bad as I thought it looked? Where the referee just like counts to 2. He counts 1, 2, and then looks the completely other direction for no reason and sees his foot on the ropes. Like, did you see that?
That always looked bad. I never liked that. Never liked that. Like, why would you do that? Why would you just turn around and turn your attention when you should be like on your attention should be right on the shoulders counting that pin?
Right. So yeah, so like that's a thing, that's a detail thing that that's kind of on the ref. He has to be in position, right? Like they know the spot, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do the setup where it's a devastating move that he's not gonna kick out of, so he's got to put his foot on the ropes. The referee has to get down to count, but as the referee, you can get down anywhere on the mat for your line of sight so that you can see this, right? So it's completely on him, right? Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So now the only other thing you could say is that there was somebody outside the ring maybe could have told him that his foot was on the ropes, because who else was? It was
Morrissey.
Yeah, Morrissey. Yeah. So if Morrissey said like, "Hey, look, his foot's on the ropes," then maybe that happened. But I didn't hear him say that, and I was gonna run it back to see if he did say that, and then I was like, "Man, fuck it, I don't care. I'm not gonna run it back." But I mean, that might have happened, and if that was the case, if he verbally said something to the point that the people in the arena could hear him say, look at his foot," then okay, that's fine. But other than that, it just looked like Brian Hebner, I think it was, just completely looked the other direction unnaturally to see his foot on the ropes. Okay, that's very detailed, very inside baseball. But I have to give you guys something for staying up with us. Like, there's got to be some reason that that you're sitting here watching this show and not doing any of the number of other things that you could be doing to entertain yourselves. And we appreciate you. So I want to give you that, like, little details that you're probably not going to hear that much anywhere else. The only other thing I can say is at least Moose won this match. I mean, at least he won. I'll take it. It's great. They put on a clinic how not to use a baseball bat. You want to see, like, Colin, the next home run derby they do for the All-Star game? You want to see them come out holding the bat like this and like swinging the bat, like hitting it with their knuckles? Like, you want to see that? You see how many home runs can we hit doing that? Like,
or swing it like when you used to play. Remember when Wii Sports first came out and you had the Wii baseball game? Like, all you really had, you didn't even have to swing. If you just flicked your wrist just at the right moment, you would hit like a home run every time. So that's how you swing. You just all right, I'm ready.
There's a funny I'm gonna send you a funny little gif of Hulk Hogan hitting Conan in the head with a chair. But yeah, so and then at the very end, when they're all, like, when all the baby faces are standing there, D'Lo Brown says, God bless D'Lo Brown, he called these guys standing there at the end one of the most awesome things he's ever seen. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you've seen a lot, D'Lo. What are you talking about? This wasn't even one of the most awesome things on this set of tapings, I don't think. It's just 5 guys standing there. So that did not really give me a lot of juice heading into the Victory Road or whatever it is. We're gonna get, I think, another show before Victory Road, but I don't know. Their go home shows don't have a great track record with us, so kind of rough, fellas. Not sure. Not really into it, but at least Moose won. Moose won. That guy, Moose.
Well,
that guy.
Would
That
you
guy.
be
That guy.
interested?
That guy.
Would you be interested if, towards the end of the show there, they teased Heath Slater's return?
No.
I tried.
No, sorry.
Tried.
Not interested.
That's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We do have Eddie Edwards deciding to join Christian's team because Sami Callihan was able to save Alicia Edwards. And, after Alicia came out to save her man, Sami Callihan saves her. And now we're going to get Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards as a team. Yay. I'm the only one excited about that.
Well, they really did a slow burn on this, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be your partner ever. Oh, wait. You say my wife? All right, I'll be your partner.
I will be your partner. All right. That is it for your Impact Attack this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Brandon, go ahead and let the good folks know where they can find you.
On all the socials that I don't know what's going on. I'm drawing a blank tonight. I apologize, guys. You can find me on all the socials at Miss Tia the Transarchist, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I'm still slowly building that. Still kind of got a lot of work to do on a lot of stuff. I actually finally got some overlays being made. They should be done within the week. So we'll be starting getting some stuff done with that. Getting some videos produced, getting some new content out. Really excited about that. So things are moving forward, and it's gonna be a good time.
Now, what games are you streaming currently? If these guys wanted to come watch you on Twitch stream, what games are we streaming?
I know Brandon streams some WoW.
Yeah, he does stream some WoW.
I know that, but I don't know if there's anything else.
Most of me sticking with Burning Crusade Classic at the moment, but sometimes I'll go back and do some retro games. Like I still gotta get some new equipment, some setup to do some like the PS2 streaming, get that set up with the Elgato and capture cards and whatnot.
Yeah, you got to get the capture cards if you want to play that old shit.
Yeah,
I saw you post a picture of that Shining Force, saying, "Who played this back in the day?" I'm like, not me.
That's like reluctantly like.
No, I did not play Shining Force. I did not have a Sega. I was not the Sega. I was the Nintendo growing up, so kind of missed out on those ones. But
yeah,
I know a lot of people have good fond memories of the Shining Force series. So
yeah, it was Shining Force was fun. I was always I had the Genesis, but I was always jealous of people that had the Super Nintendo because I love the Gradius series. You ever played the Gradius games or the Life Force games? That's kind of the same thing. They were made by Konami.
Life Force is Gradius too.
Yeah. They're the same thing. Yeah, it's like the American name and then like the Japanese name for the game. But those games I loved the crap out of those. And I think they had them. I think they were on the Nintendo too, weren't they? Didn't they have some Life Force games on the Nintendo?
The first two was, and then Gradius 3 came out, I think, when the Super Nintendo launched, and it had like an amount of slowdown that made the game somewhat possible to play because that in those bullet hell games, like there's always like a million things on the screen. So
yeah, that's there's always a lot going on there. Well, anything else, Brandon?
I think that is it.
Perfect. And Vet, going ahead.
Yeah, At Opinion Haver everywhere. You can catch me on the Impact Attack whenever we can do the Impact Attack. You can catch me on the Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern with Big Ray. And we got a big NXT reveal coming up this week because it's supposedly the new NXT with the Jackson Pollock puke motif. So we'll see what they're doing with that. And then I also recorded on the latest episode of Destino. I sat down with Jargo and talked about the only real professional wrestling left on planet Earth, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if you want to hear real men talk about real wrestling on a real podcast, go check out the latest Destino. And I think that's it.
And check out any new episodes of Kaiju Big Battle where you can catch the vet as Dr. Cube each and every week over at kaijubigbattle.com. I don't even know if that's really the website for that place. Sonic, I got the hoodie on and the toboggan on just for you, sir. And guys, I kind of talked about it in the tweet, talked about it at the top of the show. But
Talk about it again.
This Tuesday, we totally are. This Tuesday, Trevor Murdoch, NWA champion Trevor Murdoch, coming over to the A Show. Check us out Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/the A Show. And we're also going to be having a pop-up show this week, ladies and gentlemen. We lucked out. We got 30 minutes of Mick Foley's time. I am super excited about this. We're going to do a special live show that we are going to release next Tuesday for everyone to watch. But if you are just so happen to be able to catch it, it will be up on Twitch just for that hour that we're going to go live, do something with Mick Foley. It's going to be a great time. Mick Foley's doing his Have a Nice Day tour. He's trying to do the shirt off his back auctions at each of these events where he basically auctions the shirt that he wears on stage. And I think the last shirt at the last venue tonight, he auctioned it off to a guy for $1,300. So it's all going to a good cause: suicide prevention, suicide awareness. Just really great stuff from a guy who fucking, we talked about Mick Foley at the top of the show. Just a fucking a dude who has like one of the biggest fucking hearts in wrestling, and he pretty much put everything on the line for our entertainment each and every week, because that man didn't have to go off that stuff. Like Vet said, he felt like he had to do a lot of these things because he had a thimbleful of athleticism and almost killing himself.
He's too nice. He's too nice for wrestling. I can't believe he made it. I just can't. This is a horrible business that chews up so many people and spits them out. And he got through it all and became a huge success. And he never changed who he was. And that's amazing. So, can't put Mick Foley over enough. Great guy.
And for those of you that want to follow us on Twitter for the A Show, check it out. We do post links there. Sonic the Hedge Rat asked in the chat what would be a link or something that we can find. And it's Twitter @_the A Show, twitch.tv/the A Show. And we do have some free stuff. Or if you just want to go pledge $1 and get some of the secret stuff that we have up there, you can go to patreon.com/the A Show. I mean, realistically, if you want to support me, go over to the Patreon, put the money down, because that's where I make my money from.
Man, just post that shit on your personal account too, bitch. You know you're gonna anyway.
I usually retweet everything from the A Show account or whatnot. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter @Colin Wysong, and you can find me each and every week with these two lovely people here at Hameen Media YouTube channel, and we're gonna do this big. We're gonna do this big. Do you guys have anything that you want me to run off the show with? Because I know what I can end the show with. No, nothing.
Oh, please go ahead.
Welcome to Hami Media Group, or as the cool kids say, HMG. We're here to provide you with the very best entertainment alternative media has to offer. Thank you to all our supporters who have made us what we are today. Follow us on social media, video, and podcast platforms at Hameen Media Group. Become a subscriber to Hameen Media Group at patreon.com for great free daily content as well as off-the-top rope extras. Subscribe to our affiliate Patreon channels with a plethora of fun content on various tiers that will bring tears of joy to your eyes. Vince Russo's The Brand, the Rip Rogers FR Podcast, Stevie Ray TV, Goldilocks, The A Show with Aaron Stevens and April Hunter, The Two-Man Power Trip, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, The Beautiful People. And now, the Larry Hankin Stories. Support your favorite HMG and independent pro wrestling talent at ProWrestlingTees.com. Enjoy the ultimate meal with Zordo's Ultra Premium Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Head over to ZordosOliveOil.com. Start your day with the best cup of joe, bro. Try a fantastic selection of flavorful coffee blends at thebrosters.com. StevieRichardsFitness.com. Get off that couch and make a healthy change without leaving your home. Amazing resistance band and yoga workout programs at an affordable price that will help you become a band new you. Hear from the pros who live the biz, bro, with talent that have worked for every major organization led by the man who put the attitude back in pro wrestling and in your ear holes. It's gotta be Russo'sBrand.com, bro. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at HMG. And now it's time to be entertained.
And you've already been entertained, ladies and gentlemen. So we already did all of the work for you. So I'm just gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna let our good friend Morty take us on out of here.
Get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. Get your shit together.